Hi, welcome to ITC556 Database Systems. I'm Peter White and I'm your lecturer for this session. What we'll be looking at with database systems is how do databases work? Databases are one of the absolutely essential foundation blocks for IT. And so we'll be looking at databases from the bottom. We'll look at the foundations of database systems, how to do database design and development, how to do database management and governance. We'll spend a bit of time doing SQL queries. And then we'll finally have a look at data warehousing. And this is a preparation for you to start thinking about where do we go with business intelligence and how do we start to put lots and lots of data together in a single place where we can start to access it. So this is what we'll be looking at. It's a fairly fascinating subject. So in order to contact me, the best bet is my email address, pewhite@csu.edu.au. Please put ITC556 in the subject line, otherwise the spam filter is probably going to take it out. I also have lots of students emailing me, usually daily, so it helps me to know which subject we're talking about. You can also leave messages for me on the ITC556 discussion board and Interact too, or you could leave a message on my office phone, 02 6338 4224. I'm not there all the time because I'm an adjunct lecturer, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please make sure you leave your name and a phone number. It's amazing the number of people who bring up with a problem and forget to tell me A, who they are, and B, how to contact them. So what we've got on our Interact site is a whole series of resources for you to help you get through the subject. Right? ITC556 is the main site for Interact for this subject. So you'll have the topics there, which is basically your study guide. The subject outline is there, so you'll be able to refer back to that, particularly for things like the schedule and also the assignments. You'll have a series of other resources. I'll always put up my lecture notes either just before or just after the lecture. I try to get them up beforehand, but it's not always possible. There are some practical manuals there to help you with entity relationship diagrams and SQL. The sample exam is there, and the various databases that we use will be there. I will also put up announcements from time to time, and I'll record our online lectures and ensure that the recordings go up there so that you can download them and replay them at a later stage. We have a test centre because a couple of our assignments are online multiple choice quizzes, and so you'll be able to go to the test centre to do those. And there's the discussion board, the forum, where you'll be able to raise questions that could be answered by myself, or perhaps by another student who may want to add their bit of knowledge about this particular aspect of the subject. We will have an online lecture and tutorial each Thursday evening beginning at 1900 hours, 7 p.m. Okay. This will normally consist of a lecture for approximately an hour, and then we'll follow that with a tutorial problem solving session also for approximately about an hour. So this will be the way that we'll normally get through it. And what I would suggest then is the discussion board, the forum, then becomes a really valuable way to start passing information between each other, asking each other questions and saying, how do we solve this particular problem? And I'll keep putting my 2 cents worth in from time to time as you go through it, but I will be monitoring the discussion boards all the time. As I said, I will be recording the lectures and they'll be available for replay or streaming. You can download them as well, and these will be placed in the 556 Interact Resources folder. Okay, so they'll be coming down in MP4 format. So let me know if you have any problems with that, and we'll look at the recording software and see if we can fix it. You'll need to install some software. This package we're using for our databases is MySQL. The current version is 5.7.13. This is the installer database management system, and this is the Windows version which installs everything. This is an open source product, and you can get it free from this particular link, dev.mysql.com, etc. You will need to log in and create an Oracle account. It's a free account. It's just so that Oracle know who's downloading. Okay. There are full installation details and instructions available in the resources folder. The drawing software we'll be using this time is, however, a web-based tool, which is draw.io, and you can just go to here, that particular location, and run the thing from anywhere on any machine. It does require you to nominate initially where you're going to save it to. You can either save it locally, or you can save it either to your Google Drive or your OneDrive account if you have one of those. We have 5 assignments in this. The first one is in week 4. It's just an online quiz, so it's a nice, quick, multiple choice quiz, self-marking, so you'll know your results right at the end of it. In week 6, it's due the 15th of August. You've got another one on entity relationship diagram modeling. That one's worth 10%, and that one you will submit through EASTS. We'll talk about this as we get closer to it. There is another assignment then on the 15th of September worth 15%, also submit through EASTS, on normalization of databases, and this is the final step in the design process. That's followed by another online quiz on the 12th of September, just a week later. Again, go in, answer the questions, go from there. And our final assignment then is due on the 3rd of October, and that's an SQL assignment, and that's where you'll be required to write some SQL to query a database. If you are having problems with assignments or getting the assignments done by the due date, please email me beforehand. We can always make arrangements for you, but if I don't know about it, then you're going to get hit with the penalties. So make sure you email me well before the due date, if at all. If you have any questions, please contact me, pewhite@csu.edu.au, or put your questions up on the discussion board. That's always a good way, because everybody else can see what your question is, and they may well be saying, "Oh, thank God somebody else asked that." So I hope you enjoy this subject. It's a really, really interesting one, and as I said, it's one of the foundation subjects that you'll use throughout the entire course.